When I first applied for seminary, I struggled with the thought of, could I manage it? I was pregnant at the time and I had a 2-year-old. And so for me, it did not feel accessible. It didn't feel possible. And in my conversations with the admissions department at Calvin, their questions were, how can we meet you? How can we make this accessible for you? And so they paved a way to be fully online. And in my experience, I felt that the distance program allowed it to have a pace where I could engage with the content online, go in my pacing each week. And so I appreciate how there are, yes, specific due dates and syllabi, but also enough margin to take a pace that I felt I could go as a mom. I would describe my experience at Calvin Seminary to be very formative. Ever since I started, it has been a broad, rich pathway for me to identify what are specific gifts that God has given me and what are ways that I can live into those giftings in my identity in Christ. For me personally, the thing that I enjoyed the most, and I wouldn't have expected to say this because I didn't think it was possible to do this over Zoom, but the deep relationships and connections that I was able to build with my professors and my classmates along the way, that we got to come to the table as whole people, that we got to, I got to be shepherded by these professors in a way that was very genuine and very real. And all of that happened for me over Zoom in the distance learning program. When I think of Calvin Seminary's identity, I think of a thread. And I think of the thread where we are going to acknowledge you as first and foremost a beloved of Christ, that is who you are. And so the thread in all of my classes and the thread in my experiences, how is it with your soul? And we want to honor you as a soul before we honor you as a laborer in the kingdom. And so the seminary does an amazing job as treating you as a whole person, that you are first and foremost a soul, and you are not a machine to produce and learn. And we can easily access in our world the belief that we are what we can give, that we are what we do, that we need to build a kingdom for ourselves, that we need to build a name for ourselves. And at Calvin, we identify the kingdom is already built, and it's the kingdom of Christ, and that there's an invitation to be at the seat of the table to contribute and commune.